Hey Walking Dead fans, welcome back to the channel. This is going to be a big news video telling a few things that are spread out among the articles and some interviews and some different things. There's also a new teaser. It's kind of like a minute or so of the episode, I think, instead of just a cut together teaser, but I'll show you that toward the end of the video. I know you guys remember our favorite content officer for The Walking Dead, Scott Gimple, Chief Content Officer, all things Walking Dead. You know, at one point he said, hey, we're going to do some Rick Grimes movies. We're supposed to have 3 of them, and they're going to be on AMC. And then he changed it, and they made a deal with Universal. And then he said, they're going to be at the theaters. And I was like, yay, because that would be cool to go see them at the theater, I think. But, you know, COVID came around, so then they said, it's not going to be at the theaters. Gimple, those come back and said we're following the plan for it to be in theaters. They're still planning to release into theaters despite the COVID-19 pandemic. It has held up and is holding up production somewhat. Gimple said we're making it a theatrical film, but with the way things are going, there might be an alien invasion tomorrow. I, for one, welcome our Martian overlords, but who knows? There's a lot of craziness out in the world right now, but we're following the plan, and we're doing just as Robert Kirkman said. We're using the time to hone things up. I don't want anyone to think that we're just kind of waiting around for this pandemic to end, Kirkman said. I would say, if anything, the pandemic is going to make a lot of movies better. I think with the Rick Grimes movie, chief among them, just because we're getting a lot more time to cook this thing up and make sure it's perfect. But when things do quiet down, you guys are going to hear a ton more about this movie. And that's not the time, I guess, because we haven't heard a ton about it. We're definitely still waiting to hear. Hopefully once the finale goes off and the new shows start, Fears starts, we'll start, you know, hopefully a little trickle of information at least on the production, the starting production of the Rick movies. And as most of us know, fan favorites Carol and Daryl are getting their own spinoff show in 2023, and this will be after season 11, after the end of the main show of The Walking Dead. Scott Gimple and showrunner Angela Kang have been working on it for a while. He said they had ideas for The Walking Dead to continue after its 11th season, and some of those ideas may lend themselves to yet untitled Carol Daryl show. Gimple also teased they're considering even more The Walking Dead shows, but it is going to keep going with Daryl and Carol. It's going to be a different show with a different tone, but the story of that corner of The Walking Dead, in some ways, it continues to go through them. So I was expecting this to be a series that leads Daryl and Carol on the search for Rick. It kind of almost sounds that's not what it is, but that's still my prediction. And maybe it's part of it. Maybe the Daryl Carol show goes beyond the movies. Gimple said there's some seeds being planted, I would say, on different things like the spinoff, Daryl and Carol mentioning places they'd like to go, other things that other characters say. Gimple teased there's seeds being planted if we pay attention and can understand, you know, what's happening. It seems like Gimple really wanted to take the story a lot farther, maybe 12, 14 seasons. But it seems like he's saying that AMC kind of looked at the big picture and decided, hey, we're going to cut you off at 11, but we're going to give you these other little spin-offs and things like that. And there could be even more, like he says, even beyond the tales of the Walking Dead series. And when asked about cutting it off at season 11, he said, you know, that was really more on AMC's side of the equation. We have a ton of story to get through, and then story beyond that. AMC had a good idea of the space we were working in creatively, and they had made a call on it. But to tell you the truth, there's so much planned. Even beyond the 30 episodes ahead of us, it feels very, very far away. It feels like we're at base camp to Everest. And World Beyond isn't just the next iteration of the franchise or a little side thing. It's also the key to understanding a bigger mystery that's been building in Walking Dead and Fear. What's the 3 rings, the communities, and the one that's CRM? It's a military-type organization part of one of the groups. They're the ones that put Rick in the helicopter and flew him away. They're tangled up with our Fear group. And we've seen them in the advertisements for World Beyond. So Gimple says, well, as it relates to that mythology that I was developing in many ways around the Rick Grimes story, it's a very big mythology. I knew there were corners of it that I wanted to explore, that I think audiences would want to explore. It's one of many new mythologies we have planned in this world. It isn't like all the Walking Dead shows have to do with this Three Circles mythology, but kind of does in a big way, in my opinion. And then showrunner for World Beyond said that the 2-season limited series will end in a big cinematic way. To me, that kind of means it ties directly into the Rick movies, or it ends at them arriving at the place that then we see in the movie, or something like that. Matt Negretti said, I'm kind of two minds about it, because right now we're breaking episode 7 of season 2 with the writers, and we've all fallen in love with these characters. So I think for all of us, we feel like we could write these characters forever. But at the same time, it's nice to be able to approach a series from the beginning to end, kind of knowing what our ending is going to be and working towards that ending. He said it's all going to end in a big climatic way. I can't really say anything, but it's going to be big. All right, and about that sneak peek that we get from The Walking Dead season 10 finale, we did get that. It's a shot of the group splitting up. Part of them are going to stay at the hospital building, and part of them are going to go into groups of 2s, put the guts on them, and go out into the walkers, the horde of walkers, and Beta and the Whisperers. Very dangerous. Their plan is to make it out with some radio equipment that Luke put together to get to a wagon, to start some speakers up, and to draw the horde away. The sneak peek that we get is them letting the walkers in as they filter out with their gut ponchos on. It looks exciting. It looks sad. It looks like we might lose some people, but it's just a week away, and like all of you guys can't wait. Been waiting so long. Oh my gosh, it's almost here. But let me know what you think about all the news, the sneak peek and everything down in the comments below, and I'll join you there. This is James in Nashville. As always, guys, thanks for watching, and stay tuned for more dead stuff.